Right, from the studios in Fairfax City, we are very grateful that Marius Ziska accepted our invitation to our show. Marius, welcome to my humble podcast.
Well, thank you so much. Grateful to be here.
Thank you. No, no problem. Let's go back to the beginning. How did you start with music to begin with?
Uh, yeah, that's a good question. I think I always had a fascination for music. I I grew up listening to my father's record collection, which was he had a lot of records from the 70s, I guess. All the classics like Creedence Clearwater Revival to Jimi Hendrix to Beatles, Rolling Stones, and all this music. I just for me it was experience just to find these LP vinyl records and put them on and just be fascinating be fascinated by this music. And I always wanted to play, so I think I started very early, like borrowing a guitar from my uncle. Then my father came home with a drum set when I was about 9, and I started playing drums. And I always had this fascination about I really wanted to be in a band, like be in this group of people just having fun and playing. And so that's where it started for me. I think I was about 9 when I really started seriously playing the drums. When I was about 12 years old, I really started playing a lot of guitar, and then I found out that I could sing and play the guitar at the same time, and that was big for me because I really enjoyed doing that. So for me, when I came home from school, I didn't do any sports. I just sat around play music all day, and when I was about 15, I started my own band, which was some guys from school, and we started playing a lot and went to this competition, music competition, and we won that competition. We ended up number one, and then we went on and we got to we actually got like a small hit on the radio in the Faroe Islands when I was only 16 years old, and then it just grew and grew and grew. I mean, I've actually been playing since then.
Good for you,
So
man. Good for you.
yeah,
Good for you. Uh, yeah, you mentioned somewhere that you've been around music all your life, and you never study. You don't even have a degree in music, and you did everything your own, which is unbelievable. Some people, were born to do a specific job, whatever that means, and you did it. So
yeah, I was on my way to get a music education at one point, and I moved to Denmark because you couldn't study music in the Faroe Islands by then. You can today, but you couldn't back then. And I went to this school in Denmark where I studied music for half a year, but I never. My girlfriend at the which I we're still together. We've been together all. She really didn't want to stay in Denmark. She really wanted to be in the Faroe Islands, so we moved back home to the Faroe Islands, and yeah, I'm kind of I'm kind of glad that I didn't go down that route because what it ended up happening with me is that I just made a lot of music instead of study a lot of music, and that has been good for me. I mean, I'm happy about that choice.
good for you. And you are still with a lady, which is a good sign.
Yes, yeah. All of our lives, actually. We've been together since we were 15, I think. So,
All right, good for you, man.
yeah, yeah.
How difficult in general term is it to make a living as a musician? You have another job, another part-time job, you teach, or would you spend all your time music-related activity?
When I started, when I really took the when I really decided to only play music, that's has to be 12 years ago. I've been only doing music for 12 years. At
Yeah.
first, I was teaching a lot as a guitar teacher, and so I had that side job, and then just played as much as I could, and that worked out fine. And now, for the last 4 years, I've only been doing music, no, not teaching yet, and that has also worked out. So
Yeah.
I actually take like 1 year at a time, and yeah, it seems like if you're willing to work and you really enjoy what you're doing, you can live out of it, I think.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it. By the way, where did you learn to speak English in the Faroe Island? Because you speak very well, man. Or
Yeah,
you
we
had
have
when you were little, go to English.
we have English in schools.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
I think from the fifth grade or something like that, or I can't remember, but from I think it's from the fifth grade we have English, and we also
Uh,
speak Danish and a little bit German also. But not many people are good at speaking German. It's more like Danish and English, or
yeah.
and then Faroese as well. Yeah,
Faroese is a complicated language. I tried to pronounce a couple words when I was talking to Ivor.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I couldn't do it.
yeah.
Stuff, man.
I can imagine it's very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us it's not hard, but yeah,
Uh, Good for you. I think you've been working with lyricist Hans Jacob, and he
yeah.
had been the two of you have been partnered for many years. Feel free to elaborate on the importance of your friendship and your collaboration with him.
Yeah, that happened very naturally because when I write songs, I tend to focus a lot on production and melodies. So that's my strong side, I would guess. And I often come up with lyrics while I write, but they are not finished lyrics. They are more like ideas and words that I need to say. And then I often do that. I need like a partner to collaborate with on lyrics. And Hanshako, he's a friend of mine from we've been friends like for many years. And he writes a lot of poems, and for him words are like he's very good at that. So we just tried to write some songs together, and it ended up working really good. So we wrote like 2.5 albums in Faroese together, and
Wow,
that's
that's
yeah,
good for you. Yeah,
yeah.
and as
Especially
you
in
go ahead, go ahead.
especially in Faroese, he's very good. He has really beautiful lyrics about everything. It's kind of hard for me to say what the lyrics are about because they're like poems, and then they
Yeah,
can be understood in so many ways.
right.
But yeah, that's just a friendship that has worked out really well. And he's also an old musician. He played a lot of music in his younger days, so he's good at like writing words to melodies. So actually, the
Yeah.
way it works out is that I make complete melodies that are totally finished, and I sing la 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 and da 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 to and send it to him, and it comes back completely finished in words.
My God, man. Well, he's very talented. And
Yeah,
yeah, some people have the gift. And of course, when you write poetry, it's up to the listener to interpret the meaning.
yeah,
A track for me might be I interpret a different way that you will interpret yourself. And that's the beauty of the poetry, right? Everybody provide their own, they're receptive and to the kind of music and provide their own interpretation,
yeah,
which is good. You mentioned at the beginning that your father, I think you came from humble means, and your father gave you a drum kit at the time, and you went back and forth guitar, and then you drums, and then how you figured out that you could sing as well, because that's another asset to have. It's very difficult.
yeah. I don't know. For me, it was never I it was never about being on a stage and being the front man. It was more about being in a group together with people and making music. That was always the main thing for me, the main attraction or whatever you call it. But I think actually, first of all, my father, he saw that, okay, he's not gonna play sports, and I needed something to do, so he just provided me with all these instruments. And but yeah, when I started playing guitar, I remember that we really wanted to have a band, and nobody in the band wanted to sing actually, because nobody wanted to be the front guy. So I started to sing a little bit and found out that I really enjoyed singing, and then it just grew and grew. So and I'm very happy for that today, because it has given me a lot of joy in life to be able to write songs. Yeah,
Good for you, man. And we have another. My dad had a lot of music as well. So I began listening to music, different type of music, when I was literally a baby, and when I was
yeah,
14, sort of discovered the Pink Floyd, the Led Zeppelin,
yeah,
Genesis, the Peter Gabriel as well. So I'm glad
yeah,
that you grew up in a family where music is important, because you were
yeah,
listening to your that records, at the time.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I still do. I mean, when I was a kid, the music that I heard was amazing, and when I became a teenager and a little bit older, I sort of listened to other types of music, like the music that was up in that time, like the '90s. It was Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and all this stuff. But when I got a little bit older, like now, I really can see that the music that I was listening to when I was a kid, that was really maybe the best music ever. And that was like, yeah, Peter Gabriel was also there, and ELO, and
Yeah.
yeah, Creedence, and so many good music. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was a great way to, it was a great introduction to music as a child, to hear these amazing albums. Yeah.
Got it. You mentioned me that you moved from your own country to Denmark for a while, right? And then you come back. I've never been in Denmark myself. How's the Denmark music scene, if you will? Is it's hard for you guys coming from a different country and then try to learn the language to either go to school or play some gigs or audition with other bands, or still it's very difficult for a foreigner.
Um, well, we are Danish citizens. Faroese people are Danish citizens,
Yeah.
but I still think it's hard. I mean, some Faroese people that live in Denmark have made it quite good in Denmark, but we still have to remember that Denmark is also kind of a little country. I mean, there are 6 million in Denmark or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
And we actually play somewhere around 2 times a year. We have small tours in Denmark, and there are mostly Faroese people coming to see those shows. Of course, they bring some of their Danish friends, but there's a lot of Faroese people living in Denmark, and since we are a very popular band in the Faroe Islands, we are also popular amongst Faroese people in Denmark.
Yeah.
So that works out fine. But to break through the Danish scene as a Faroese artist is not so easy, I think, because it's always hard coming from another country and making it big in another country. I think. I'm not an expert, but that's what I think.
Well, you did
Also,
it.
also, if you sing in Faroese, it's there's kind of a language barrier there. Some people enjoy it a lot to hear music in other languages, and some they are like, I can't understand this. Why should I listen to this? There's a lot
Yeah.
of different opinions on that, I think.
Yeah, I was listening to all your music a couple of days ago, wherever it's listed out there, and in
Yeah,
Bandcamp and Spotify and all the videos. And of course, I
yeah.
don't speak Faroese, but it's great music. It's great. I mean,
Thank you.
when I say great music, I like the melody, how rhythmic it is, the drum, the guitar, the voice of the person or the
Yeah,
band. Whether
yeah,
I whether I understand the language or not is irrelevant for me, and it's great stuff, man.
yeah. I feel that way too when I listen to
Yeah.
music that sometimes it's even more beautiful Be-
Yeah.
because the English language is really good,
Yeah.
but it's also very we've heard that so many times that I mean it can also be nice just to hear something where you maybe focus more on the music and on the
Absolutely.
actual
Yeah.
sound of the music or sound of the voice or because yeah it goes both ways, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. At the beginning, I read that a lot of people, I don't know if imitate or be close to, but because I have heard a lot of bands saying they want to sound like more like you know, Bon Iver, of course, and
Yeah.
type of music or type of rhythm. But at the
Yeah.
end, you want to be yourself, right? At the end, you want to have your own take on music, right? Right.
Yeah, that
At the
is.
beginning, people do cover band because they want to get some
Yeah.
attention and try to get a hold of the record label and so forth.
Yeah.
But a lot of people start that way.
Yeah, I think that's just that's really natural for us as human
Yeah.
species to we have to compare it to something because what is it if we can't compare it to something, and
Yeah.
it would be awesome to just sound like yourself, but at the meantime it would also be very hard, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But more and more I play music, the more and more I want to believe that I sound more and more like myself,
Mhm.
but in the end you also need inspiration from all angles to
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's actually a thing that I've been thinking a lot about, and because you can also sound so much like another artist that it's kind of pointless. I
Absolutely
mean,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Like a lot of ladies that I have interviewed, they want to sound like Johnny Mitchell. Of course, she's an icon, right? And
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
or Carol King or Carly Simon and all the
Yeah,
good stuff from the 70s and 80s. But at the end, you
yeah,
want to do it yourself, right? And
yeah.
how difficult it is for you nowadays to when you release new material, you get together with your friend, the band, and you want to find a record label to provide. Is it difficult? Is it easier? It's easier, no easy, I suppose, right?
I don't know actually because the last three records I released, only released through a Faroese label called Tot,
Yeah,
and they have always been there. They release all the Faroese artists, and
I see.
I think it works okay as a record label. So I'm definitely not an expert on that area. But right now we're doing some new music, and I think we're gonna try and explore a little bit more in that area
Mm.
because I'm kind of curious to see if it would be really a whole nother thing to release it through another record label, maybe in another country. But but I don't know actually. I mean, I think the music business is moving so fast, and it's changing all the time. At least that's what people tell me. So it's I wouldn't actually know, to be perfectly honest.
I got it. And yeah, everybody tells me that what's happening is it's not what it used to be, right? So I don't know, 20 years ago, a record label will do all the work and the publicity and help you with promotion. That doesn't exist anymore, right? So
No.
you know, with your buddies, can create your own company, your own Marius Incorporated record label, and then release on your own, and it will have probably the same thing. And then you
Yeah.
will have to do your own promotion and go to the post office every often and email stuff to people, send record CDs or whatever, right? So it's not what it used to be, right? Plus
Yeah.
the budgets are shrinking. So
Hmm. I think that's definitely possible to do it that way, but I also think it's a lot of work. Um, but yeah, it's. I mean, I think most of the people today are like more and more independent, and then there are a few huge record labels and a lot of really small ones. But yeah, I really don't know a whole lot about that, to be honest.
Okay, no, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Uh, your album called Home, actually, that was, well, 10 years ago. Well,
Yeah.
anniversary, because I was listening to it. That's a masterpiece, man.
Thank you, man.
A very, very good album. Very, very good album.
It's good. It's good that you remind me that it's 10 years ago because I actually should do some kind of concert.
That's
Have
right, a promotion.
or have some kind of concert to say it's 10 years since Home.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I actually didn't think about it. It was released in 2015.
yeah, yeah,
Now that you say it, yeah,
yeah. It's a very good album, and you, of course, you went back for English to Faroese, right?
yeah.
Why the English at the time?
Uh, before Home, I had only made songs in English. Actually, the first four Faroese songs on Home were the first four songs in Faroese that I've ever
Yeah,
written. So instead of making a whole album in Faroese, we made like a vinyl with two sides, and
yeah,
one side was with Faroese songs, and one side was with English songs, and um, and that worked out really well. I think the Faroese songs became very popular in the Faroe Islands actually, because all of a sudden people could like relate more to the songs.
right.
So
Yeah,
so it was kind of an experiment at the time, I think, for
good
me.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was, of course, I was watching a couple of videos last night, and going home, man, that's a great, great track.
thank you.
And the video, couple
Yeah,
people coming down from an airplane, if I remember correctly, and going to a couple of restaurants, and very,
yeah,
very, very well. The video was very well done, and the music is unbelievable.
yeah. It was actually a Faroese travel company that I had played that song live a couple of times. It wasn't released, but people had heard it on this radio station KEXP in Seattle because we were on a small tour as a band in
Yeah,
2012, and this Faroese travel company heard that song and they asked us if they could use that song, and I said, but we haven't recorded it yet. So they actually paid for us to go in the studio and record the song going home, and then they made this video for us as well as, and they used it as a Faroese travel video to show out in the world.
yeah,
So at the time, that was a extremely expensive video, actually, because it wasn't like today you can buy drones, and they used
so everything.
helicopters and everything to do that video. So it was
Yeah,
good for us because we got to record our song and we got a video. So for me at the time, it was amazing.
yeah, yeah. Thousands of people, or I don't know exactly the number, but have seen that video. So
Yeah, a
done very
lot of
well.
people actually, more than you can say on YouTube, because it has been.
Yeah,
Before that, it was on Vimeo, I think, and
yeah,
it had like 1 million plays there. So the thing you can see on YouTube that came actually later. So
yeah,
that song has been has has really been seen a lot by a lot of people, which is that was all thanks to this company called Visit Faroe Islands.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember writing the song,
Actually, I do very
writing
very
the lyrics, or
vividly.
have an
Yeah,
idea about?
yeah. It was a very funny song. But there's actually a kind of a story behind it because I was here sitting here in my childhood home in the Faroe Islands where I grew up. I had the studio in the basement, and I had I had the chorus, which, and I could just hear "I'm going home," and I was just singing that along, and then I had this kind of an idea for a verse. And then a friend of mine called Alan Towson, he just came by just to drink coffee or something, and he's a great musician as well. And I showed him the idea, And he was like, "That's really good." And then he took a guitar, and we just wrote the whole song, and I think it took like 3 minutes.
My God, man.
Yeah, and
Wow.
he wrote the whole lyrics, just this story down, and I had the chorus already,
Mhm.
and then the song was born, and it was like, okay, cool. Then we just started playing it live, just for fun, I guess. But we could really feel that it grew and grew, and but we had no idea that it was about to become that big, actually. So yeah, it's
To
funny
see,
how it happens. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
stuff comes to
Thank
you
you.
sometimes, and
I think the songs that really stick with people are often the songs that come really
yeah.
quickly, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some people, some people have mentioned to me many times. Well, it's not that I pick music. Music shows me instead the other way around. I'm just a
Yeah.
guy with a guitar or drum but the lyrics are coming to my head and you put it
Yeah.
together. So
But it really feels like sometimes you're receiving it
exactly.
from here or
Somewhere.
something.
Yeah.
And it really feels like that. And maybe it's that. Who knows? But yeah, that's what it feels like. And I think we have maybe so much in our unconsciousness, and we pick up so many things that every once in a while it's just all comes together or something, which
Exactly.
is it's a beautiful thing
Yeah.
when it
The other
happens.
track is called Shades. The
Yeah,
duo briefly with our mutual friend Ivor.
yeah.
That's a great track as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. You knew Ivor. I think since you guys were little kids, right? I mean, you know,
Yeah, maybe not kids, but in our teenage years,
teenager.
I
Yeah.
think. Um, I think it was 1999 when there was this competition in the Faroe Islands where we played in bands, and we were actually competing.
Yeah.
uh, and yeah, she was in the band called Click Case, and I was in this band called Flux at the time. And I think yeah, you could say kids, I think 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've known her since then, and she's a great friend. I live in
Yeah.
Søldarfjord, or I lived in Søldarfjord. Now I live in Tórshavn, but Søldarfjord, and she lived in Gøta, so that's very close to. It's only like a 10-minute drive that way.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah, and
Maybe
then
one day I will visit you and we go together to see
you're more
visit.
than welcome.
Huh?
Yeah, yeah, you're more than welcome.
She's a very nice lady, very humble and lady as well. And
Yeah, yeah,
so
extremely nice people.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course, absolutely. And
yeah,
in 2018, the next album, I think it's called Portur. I don't know if I pronounced it
yeah,
correctly. And
yeah.
I really like the album. Of course, that's a different language. And the song that really resonated with me, I might try my best to pronounce it, but I think it's Ongin Orsak or something like that.
Yes, yeah.
And
Ongin er orsök.
how you pronounce it?
Ongin er orsök. That was a good. That was okay.
Yeah,
Ongin er orsök. Yeah.
yeah, got it. I will not try. It's a great track, man, as well.
Thank you.
The rhythm, the composition, of course, I don't understand the lyrics, but we talked
Yeah.
before that's irrelevant. And what's how you put that together as well.
Also a song that came really. I remember being on tour in Denmark actually, and just playing this riff over and over, this guitar riff. I had this verse in my head a couple of weeks, and then I was like, okay, this is good. Sometimes that was kind of slow, but then all of a sudden there was a chorus, and then the song was finished.
Mm.
And Engineer Oshuk, in English words, it would translate to actually some like don't worry, or don't overthink, don't think too much, um, or there is no reason to overthink everything. That's what the lyrics is about. That you should not fill your head with the negative things in life, but always try to yeah, to be as bright-minded as you possibly can.
No, no. I mean, all of us, right, as human beings have issues and family,
Hmm.
bills to play, and these sometimes things do not work out, and so whatever that is. And but
Yeah,
you need to stay, go for a walk, get a coffee or a beer, and
yeah,
tomorrow will be a different day and a positive
yeah,
day. It's
yeah. It's really hard to talk about the lyrics and translate them into English.
right.
But yeah, this song is basically about that. And in Faroese, it sounds really beautiful. But when I try to translate it to English and try to put it into English words, it's really wow. It sounds kind of corny, maybe.
Yeah,
But
got it.
yeah,
When you go on tour, well, if you are in Faroe Island, you think in your own mother tongue, your own language, or you do a combination of English and or
when I'm in Denmark,
on Denmark or you're set, right? If you were to play a
oh
gig tonight, right, or tomorrow,
yeah,
or it's a combination of both English and Faroese.
it's a combo. Yeah, it's both. But actually, the latest two albums have both been in Faroese.
Yeah,
So right now there's a lot of Faroese songs.
yeah,
I only have like four songs in English. So there are
yeah.
mostly Faroese songs right now.
Mm.
But actually, the new stuff that I'm writing right now, I've just written three songs in English that I'm really happy with. So I'm building a bit up in that. I'm trying to have more songs in English actually to just to have like yeah,
Balance
because
around,
right,
right?
yeah, balance, a better balance. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then, do you plan on releasing first like an EP type of thing, and then do the rest for an album?
I haven't quite decided it yet. Um, the first I had this goal that in 2025 I would write an EP in English, but we're only in March and I've already written an EP. So now I'm considering if I should make a whole album.
Yeah,
But I haven't really decided if I should go make a whole album or if I should release an EP. I will find out in like 1 month or two if what I'm gonna do. But it will definitely be an EP, maybe a whole album. We'll see.
yeah,
It also depends on who's gonna release it and what their plan is.
yeah. Got it.
Yeah,
Good for you. And of course, the latest album that you have is for 2023 Room.
yeah,
Also in Faroese, that was released in March 2023. Well, exactly two
hmm,
years ago. That's
yeah,
uh, that's that's very good as well, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
You should always try to release something within 2 years or something like. If it comes 3 or 4 years, it becomes a long time, I think.
yeah.
Or at least that's what people tell me. I don't know. I don't know if there's any right or wrong, but yeah, as
Well,
long
the
as it's
album
good.
need to be, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the album need to be released when it's ready, right?
Yeah, that's of course.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
But you know,
yeah.
on the other hand, if you wait too long, fans will disappear or fans will go into other bands. So you always gotta be, unfortunately, in social media and posting stuff or
Hmm.
this or that, so people will
Yeah,
remember about you, which is unfortunately
yeah,
that's the animal of
yeah, of
this.
course. But I think maybe a cycle between every 2 and 3 years.
Yeah,
That feels kind of good for me, at least. I think. But yeah, I mean, if you're not inspired, you should definitely not just put something out just to put something. You should definitely do it because you have something to say, or yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, are you planning a tour? I believe at this moment. Is that correct? Yeah.
I actually took I have a booker in Denmark, and last year we played a lot in Denmark, and we made a deal last year that we should take 1 year off,
Yeah.
just because to have some time to just make new songs, and then next year we're going on tour again. And
2026, right?
yes, Yeah, that's the. So I only play in the Faroe Islands this year, and next year I hope it's gonna be. I hope we have some time to release new music, and people will receive it, or yeah, people will like it, and we might get to go on a bigger tour next year. That's what we're working on, at least. Yeah.
Any possibility of you coming with your band to play here in the United States, or
Well,
is
I would love to, uh, but we'll have to see if that's gonna happen. I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of planning and costs a lot of money, and it's yeah.
yeah.
I was on a tour once in we started in Seattle and we drove all the way from Seattle to LA and we played like 14 gigs. That was actually
Wow.
that was actually in 2012, and that we arranged it ourselves. So it was a very it was before all the before I got any this a little bit of fame that I have now. It was this tour that we just planned ourselves, and it was very funny. I just contacted a booker there, and we just made. Yeah, he booked like 14 gigs, and we had no. He booked 15 gigs, and we were there in 14 days. So one day we had to play 2 gigs, and then we just drove all the way from Seattle and just played and played and played and played, and
Yeah,
that was a very low budget tour, but we learned a lot and we got to play a lot as a band, and for us, I will remember that for the rest of my life. But if I'm gonna do something like that again, it has to be very planned.
yeah. This time you
Yeah,
need to do it you did in the West Coast. Now you need to do it the East Coast, right? Like New
yeah,
York,
yeah,
Boston, New Hampshire,
yeah,
Washington, D.C.,
yeah.
and that's where they live. Right? Yeah,
Well, that would be awesome. I hope I'm gonna be able to do that someday.
yeah. I think you guys need to pay like the visa to play here in the United States.
Yeah,
I think it's very expensive. So
it costs a lot of money. Yeah.
yeah,
And if you're gonna do it right, I mean the expenses on being on a tour like that with the cars and everything it's quite crazy actually.
yeah. You need to. Well, what's the process for you to record your music? You wake up every morning, inspired. You go to a studio, you go for a walk, you go to a supermarket, you hear a voice for somebody, or you're on the radio, a lyrics, a commercial, and you write it down, and the stuff. What's the process for you for inspiration, if you will?
It's very different. I mean, all of that you said, I think it's never the same.
Mhm.
Um, for me, it's almost I pick up a guitar, I just play around until something I kind of surprise myself. Hey, that sounded good, and then it will just inspire to do something more. When I'm kind of tired of playing it, I just record it on my phone just to remember it later. And when I have like really have the time to go into a studio, I go through all the ideas and listen to whatever I've been playing around with for the last week or two. And if I hear it back and I think, wow, that's really good, then I try to create a whole song out of that. And I always use like 2 hours or something to just really hurry and create something like a whole song out of it, melody, arrangement, everything. And then I save it on the computer and I come back to it and I listen. And if I like it, keep on working on it. If I don't like it, I throw it away. So for me, it's always been like that. It's fast, 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 and first impressions of things are very important because you can have like a half bad idea that you can just work and work and work and work, but it never really becomes anything. But yeah, it's basically from just playing an instrument and singing, and if it feels if it feels really good and really fresh and like I like that, and it gets stuck in the head and it doesn't go away, it probably is a good idea. Yeah.
You mentioned before that nowadays in your country there are many musical schools that people now can go and study music or become a record engineer or what have you, and more possibilities nowadays that you had when you were growing up, right?
Yeah. The Danish, what's it called? The conservatory?
Yeah.
Yeah. They had, like, when I was living in Denmark, they only had the classical, no, they had the classical line or the rhythmic line. And today they have like songwriting lines and stuff like that. And if they had that back in the day, I would definitely go like on the songwriting line or the production line, and because that's always been my thing. I've never been a real like a amazing guitar player or an amazing singer. I've been okay with both, but my main thing is to write songs, and that's what I really like to do. So I think it's amazing that the conservatory has that today, because that's what music is all about, if you ask me.
Yeah, gotcha. And then in terms of writing and collaborated with any particular person, if you have a dream that you wish to spend a whole afternoon with to write some song, and any people that you admire that you would like to work with in terms of a new song, new tracks, a new.
If who I would like to write
Yeah,
with.
that's right. Yeah.
Well, you said earlier that you were going to interview Peter Gabriel, so you could say hi from me.
I got it. Yeah, like everybody wanna, yeah, everybody wanna
But
work with
yeah,
you.
there are so many great songwriters and so many people that I admire. Justin Vernon from Bon Iver, a huge inspiration for me.
Yeah,
But really, a lot of people actually. I think music is all about playing with people. I think that's when something really magical happens. Right now, I'm working on the new songs. I'm working with a lot with my bass player from my band. And the way we make arrangements right now is that I just show up with a guitar, and instead of pressing record, we just sit around and jam and play it over and over again until it really comes together as a song. Because we've tried so often before, press and record and just start to record something, and then it just becomes this recording that's never just the idea. But when
right.
you really play music together with people, like a drummer and a bass player, and it really melts together, it's a whole nother thing. Then it
Yeah,
really becomes music. Yeah.
gotcha, gotcha. It's good for you. Let me know if um if I can do anything for you in terms of coming here to the United States. Of course, because I go to many venues and see so many shows, I'm in touch with a lot of venues and stuff like that, that I could try to help you playing here. Your music is great, man. You're doing well.
Thank
Uh,
you.
and then hopefully I could see you playing live one day.
That would
I
be
would love to be
awesome.
there. So,
Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna need all the help we can get. So
yeah, let me give me both,
I'll
or in new promotion, new another interview when you release a new album.
I'll
Happy
let you
to
know.
happy to help, man. Happy
I'm
to help.
grateful for that. Thank you.
No problem, man. You've been good to me, and
Yeah.
Ivor have been good to me, and so on. So I have a never been to your country, but I have very good opinion of all the people of the country. So happy to help
Yeah.
you.
Well, you should definitely come to the Faroe Islands if you have the chance.
Yeah,
And I would recommend you to come to a festival that's called G Festival. It's right in the neighborhood of there. That's in Gotha, the village where Ivor is from, and it's
yeah,
it's 10 minutes from here. And there's huge scene on the small beach that they have, and the whole festival is held in a little village. So
yeah.
I
Wow,
can send you a link to that. It's a
that would
very
be great.
beautiful festival. Yeah,
Yeah. When is this? It's held every year?
every year. Yeah, in July.
July.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, I will try then. I will try. It was very nice talking to you, and you're a great guy. You're doing well, and I like your music, man.
Thank you. Likewise.
No problem. Take it easy, man. Thank you.
Okay. Hey.